How do you know when it's time to let a relationship go? I mean,
I have
if you
no
haven't
idea.
dealt with your stuff, and you're going to keep attracting the same thing, unless you work through it. 'Cause you
Oh
also
yeah,
said
I got
that
an answer. I was messing with
like
you.
you also said that it helps to stay in the relationship, that you can grow more. So I just feel
No, it's a great, my answer for that is because couples will ask that, when do we know enough is enough? And my answer is that when you can truly see that person in your heart with no judgment and still make that choice that I don't want to be with you anymore. That's it, plain and simple. But also, it could be also that I know that this is something I need to work out, and this is something I need to work out with other partners, but I feel as though I can't work this out with you. Then you maybe work it out with a therapist or some other way.
Right.
I mean, oftentimes people say, well, if you don't work it out with him or her, you're just going to create that in another relationship and have to work it out with them. Where there's some truth in that, it's not always so. If you have a clear idea of what the issue is, then you can work it out without that person. So there's
you
no
can
reason
do
to
the
put
internal
yourself...
alchemy yourself,
Yeah.
and not attract it.
Yeah.
Or if you're both committed, you can do that together. But
Absolutely.
if you can't, then
Absolutely.
okay,
You both have to be on the same page.
right.
So, yeah, there's no reason to subject yourself to abuse. I mean, it's like, this is the 9th guy that beat me, but you know what? I keep tracking it and I'm going to stick it out. Put your
Right.
gloves on, I know you love me deep down inside. I mean, no. You need to get away from that, right?
But isn't it like if everybody has all these issues that, they're dragging into their relationship, like I've never understood that, why is it that people are still together? Like everybody's got issues, right? We all agree to that. And everybody's basing their judgments and building their relationships based on their past issues and making it about the other person, not necessarily about themselves. Probably more people than others. So how is it that relationships actually stay together? Like
Fear. It's fear or conscious choice that I love you and I want to support you and I'm going to accept you and I trust that you'll do the same for me. So let's move through this because you're the only person that tolerates my shit. It could be.
Not that shit you're supposed to be working on in a relationship.
But you're not. There's this idea. This is like the human nature, what we've been obviously raised with in this culture, that you're supposed to be perfect and then find your mate, or get the perfect grades and then find the best job. None of that ever happens. How many actually went to like college and are doing something completely different than what you thought you were going to do? Okay? And how many actually had an idea of a partner and yet you're with someone or have dated people who are completely different than that idea? Okay? So keep in mind, life is unpredictable. What's more important is, again, it's like connecting to your true self of what makes you happy and that consciousness of knowing that I'm going to grow from this. This is about growing. It's about growth. I kind of digressed when I started talking about the relationships, and that is that, again, most people really believe what's going on around them and inside them is real, and that it's that important. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. Okay? So, like, there's like this, I have a friend who is, she's like a matchmaker, and then she's had a lot of challenges with relationships, go figure. And she has like every book on relationships, and she goes through this process of dating a little bit and like, oh my God, it's just horrible out there. I'm thinking, oh my God, and you're like hooking people up? I'm like, whoa. And then she stops for a while, and then she'll like hook up with guys who she knows that are unavailable, who are younger. She does the whole cougar thing, and then she's like, it's not for me, but at least I'm getting some of my needs met. It's safe. And she talks about it in a conscious way. She says, well, I don't really want to have kids again, and I don't want to do this. And it's always these things that she does not want. And she says, I don't know if I can be with one person forever, and just all these different things. And I'm like, whoa. I said, so what if I were to tell you right now that you're going to have a relationship every 2 years, and in that relationship, you're going to have a lot of great sex, a lot of fun, a lot of growth, some challenges, but all in all, it's going to be something that helps you become a better person, a better mother. Would you sign on? She's like, yeah. I said, well, what if you're programmed that way and not the other way? And you've been trying to fit in a box. And I'm not talking about people being non-committal. I'm talking about people being committed to the process, not an idea supposed to last as long as it lasts for my parents or the people from the 1950s. Do you understand? So it's very important to understand what works for you. And so people feel like losers. Oh my God, I'm 43 and I had no kids. I don't have a house. Or, this is my third husband. Who gives a shit? Are you happy? Have you experienced life fully? Do you understand? Have you jumped out of an airplane? Do you understand? So most of us end up suffering because we subscribe to these old ideas. And so if a person's single, there's nothing wrong with that. And if there's a person who's married, there's nothing wrong with that. Fear-driven desire is that you're attached to an outcome. It's to feel better about yourself. It could be buying shoes and like going, oh, this is going to make me feel better. Okay? Whereas it's coming from love, it's an extension of who you already are. Meaning that it's to enhance your beauty already. Does that make sense? Yes.
So then how do you go through the process of things without attaching yourself to that outcome? How do you separate yourself from wanting that outcome?
By connecting to love itself before the outcome. Meaning that...
What if you think you are?
What was that?
What if you think you are? What if you think you're doing something from a loving place, but in the back of your head you know that this is what you want for it to come from?
You're actually contradicting yourself with that. You actually wouldn't be in that state of consciousness if there was doubt right there. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Did you hear how you just asked that
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be in that place. You would know that this is fear in that moment. Did you hear how she asked that?
No.
Okay. Do you remember?
I don't think I can repeat
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm trying to say is sometimes, well, I don't know verbatim how you asked the question, but she asked the question. She said, "How would you know this if you had this fear?" And I said, "Well, if you knew you had fear, you wouldn't even have that question." It was something like that.
Is that like the difference between wanting something but needing it?
Yes, wanting and needing. There's nothing wrong with like wanting certain things. It's about not having attachments to it. It's just that I would like this, I want this, I desire this, but I'm going to be good where I'm at in this now moment. So it's such a very important concept to connect to, because if some of you are actually struggling, maybe you are unemployed or whatever it is that might be in your mind your reality, but your reality doesn't mean you have to feel shitty about yourself. Your reality could be that I still feel good even though I know I'm unemployed and would like to make more money. I would like to send out resumes, I'd like to track a job, and my desire is to get a job, but you're not attached to anything. No matter what, during this process, I'm going to go outside and connect to nature. I might have to, move downstairs with my parents. I don't know how that happens, but you might have to do different changes in your life. There's nothing wrong. I think the best thing that anyone can experience is these humbling experiences, because I've had many of them. The ones that have taught me the biggest lessons, the ones where I tried to take control of the circumstances and I had to do something that I really didn't want to do. It was like the universe saying, aha, we're going to break down your ego. So keep in mind that, I think that when we have those experiences that there's just so much resistance again, that's where we're going to find our biggest lessons. So did I answer the love and a want and need for everyone? I know it's kind of a little gray area, but I'll tell you this. This is how you know it. Is if you don't attract that situation and you're okay, then you know that it came from a place of love. However, if you don't experience that and you feel like angry, then that's a sign that that's why you didn't attract in the first place, because it came from a place of fear. You understand? Fear can't attract love. Fear cannot attract a good outcome. Bottom line. Does that make sense?